All right, let's try again. Jeez. Okay, so we got one that I think we can take here. This is Nate, and I'm just gonna try to not mess up here. No far save, so of course we're gonna go with the Lin team. And you see Nurgle there in the corner, premonition of what is to come. But yeah, we're gonna take out everyone here one by one. Duma doesn't really matter since, I mean, the healing tower is not needed for this team. If they like create a new Duma where he does like 50, oh my god, like 50 damage, if he's basically the Bolt Tower, because at this point I don't see a reason why not to. I mean, yeah, like kind of like Surtur. Surtur did what, 30 or 20? 20 probably. If they up Duma's chip damage, if Duma gets another ult, and they up his chip damage to like 30 or something around that range, man, that's going to be nuts. That would be like a really good addition that I wouldn't actually be mad at. Granted, I don't think it would be the greatest thing for defense. Like if like someone from offense brought that. Well, if it's the first turn, nah, scratch that. Maybe turn 2.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the greatest thing for defense because defenses typically need a turn to get ready. So I love the idea. I just hope that if they implement it, they do it justice. They don't just like make it go off on turn 1. But I don't know. Just a thought. But we're gonna take out the units first off that have the most threat range, and then we'll figure out where we go from there. It's a pretty straightforward strategy. Pick your targets, and yeah, that's basically it. Man, it has been a rough morning. I took like a big break between that last match and this one, just to I don't know, break the juju, break the bad spell, because I was in a rut, or I don't know what was going on, but I was in that losing vibe, or losing, I don't know, algorithm. I don't know what you want to call it, but felt like we were just throwing every match. So I definitely took a break, and here we are with luckier, easier opponent to deal with, which I guess can be contributed to the time that has passed as well. So definitely taking advantage of it. We lose the healing tower, but like I said, it doesn't matter. Edelgard is next up on the list since she has the Celica ring. The Kanto there was a little bit unfortunate, but she will eventually get into position where we can snipe her. Lyn is also on the list, the enemy Lyn. I think we take her for now since she has the range, and we try to avoid Athos since he has the Lyn ring. Yeah, that's probably going to be the plan. In the meantime, I was watching some videos. What was I watching? I don't think it's anything. it was God. Oh my God, the word is like right at the tip of my tongue. 90 Day Fiance. There we go. I was watching some 90 Day Fiance, and it was yeah, a lot of people trying to. It's so crazy how marriage is essentially just a piece of paper. Like once you get to a certain age, you realize that that's really all it is. But then also that piece of paper has a bit of weight to it because it's essentially a financial obligation that it's a legally binding financial obligation that you're getting into with another human. And essentially how it scares people. Just the thought of being tied to someone else, it's petrifying to a lot of people, even in their 40s and 50s, which is insane. But then when you really think about it, by the time you get to 30, you have like a full idea, or you should have like a full idea of who you are, and it's kind of difficult to put up with someone else's BS at that age. So definitely, I don't really like encourage people to get married like in their 20s. Like, well, then I don't really know anyone that young to begin with, but I wouldn't encourage it because you grow a lot during that time frame, and by the time that you hit your 30s, you're a lot more affirmed in who you are as a person and the things that you will and won't put up with. When you're in your 20s, you're more what's the word? I can't say it. molds. It's easier to mold you or to build you and to build yourself into someone that is more acceptable to your partner. That's one possible outcome. The other possible outcome is that you'll just become two completely different people by the time that you hit 30, and you're going to be sitting there wondering who the person you married is. And yeah, that's probably the main reason that I don't recommend it, to get married like when you're still like 20, 22, 23. It's just like not the greatest idea. Date while you're young. It's really important to see what's out there. I highly recommend going through your whole phase in your 20s. That's definitely the best time to do it. That's when you should be making mistakes because you have the time to fix it. But when you're in your 30s, it's last call, last roll of the dice. You really don't want to be messing up because you don't have the time or the money to allocate to expensive mistakes. So I don't know. I can understand from that standpoint that someone in their 40s would not want to get married at that age, or be terrified of getting married because of the financial obligation that comes with it. Like, that person could literally take your entire savings from you, or at least half, if they just decide to leave you at a certain point. And that's a really terrifying thing, especially if you've built yourself up to some amount of wealth, and then not looking at it from the financial standpoint.
They will submit.
To be attached to someone and then to have that break at that age, it's really tough, man. It's really, really tough. It's better to be single or at least just have a partner that you can kick it and chill with. But to be fully committed to someone at that age and then to have it fail, it's tough. You've all seen, or a lot of people have seen their parents break up in their 50s, 60s, and how tough that divorce was. Going through it, I can certainly understand it. You understand it a lot more when you get to the age that I am, which I'm in my 30s. You understand how they would have ended up making that decision and how difficult of a decision it would be, even especially when there's a child involved. But yeah, 90 Days Fiance, totally get how tough it is to make that leap, especially with someone that they're just meeting for, like, you're talking to them over the internet for like a year and then you decided to get married in 90 days. I can totally understand why it would be terrifying. But that's the concept of the show, and it is fantastic. Definitely a great watch. If you don't have anything else to check out, it's on what is this channel? Oh man, it's one of those somewhere between Lifetime and HGTV, somewhere around there. I forget what this channel is called, but yeah, it's real good, man. Real good. I thoroughly enjoy it, and I'm looking for I think they're doing a British version of it on Fridays, and that British accent is, I don't know what it is about that British accent, but it gets me, man. It gets me. I don't know if there's anything about England or English people, it's the accent. They got that. That is definitely something that is enticing. But that aside, we're done with this match. Thor, take us out. Finally got a win on the board. Apparently we just needed to take a break and get out of the slump. GG's. Finally a match that we could win. Hopefully we get one more. All right, here we go. Last match of the week, and it is one that we can actually manage. Very happy that we were able to run into something manageable on the last day, because I did not want to deal with anything stressful. This is definitely a throwback defense. It's kind of bizarre to see this at tier 37. I don't imagine that this is getting a ton of wins at this point, but I'll take it. I will definitely take it and run away, get out of here. Don't know what the next week has in store, but I definitely think for Astra season, the next one, gonna need some better units. It's Black Knight season, and I expect to see him on defense. and I definitely don't have anything to cope with him. I'm already failing to cope with Marth plus Nithauger, so you know, to add another bulky armored unit to that combination, I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to see what the next banner has to bring. Hopefully, definitely has to be a nuke. Definitely has to be some type of melee nuke, range nuke, some type of nuke, because how else are we supposed to get through how bulky these defenses are? I don't know, man. Yeah. I kind of also forgot that Soren and Co are getting their refines this year. Was it Soren or Corrin? Corrin. My apologies. Corrin. And Brave Robin. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Brave Male Robin's refine this year, because it's just Rally Spectrum. And as good as Rally Spectrum is, I don't really know how you're going to be able to make Male Robin any better than he is. I don't see where the improvement is. I didn't really fancy him because of lack of slaying and the dependency on the Rally Spectrum to go off for his special. I love the damage reduction piercing. That was really great. And the warping was cute, but for a melee unit, he needed to get just a little bit further for it to actually matter. And I think if he were released in this current meta, he would be a lot better. But I don't see them upgrading his warp range reach as a refine. If they did that, then top tier unit. He is automatically good. Well, actually, he'd need just a little bit more firepower, but I think they will definitely give that to him. But I think for a refine, he definitely needs a little bit more reach for his warping. I don't know if that would be a first, and I don't know if it would be like that would be breaking the bank, because if he gets it, then that would mean that other units can get something similar in the future, and I don't know if the IS is ready to go down that path just yet. But I think it will be a fantastic addition to him to make him a usable unit, because the threat of being, getting someone like with a special warping into your face, DR piercing, it's definitely terrifying. It would basically be similar to Camilla, but not as strong, but still good. But then also because of that, thinking of that, I think they could just as easily just give him more stats, or at least the true damage that Camilla has, with the drawback of having less warp range. I could also see that happening, but I don't know. That's an interesting refine to consider. And then I don't know what they'll do with the rest of them. I can't even really remember who else is on that banner aside from Corrin and Robin. Golveg.
Close your eyes.
I don't know what they're going to be able to do to Golveg to make her any better.
What now?
She would need a ton of damage reduction and a ton of damage, and I don't see her getting enough for it to matter. So, not looking forward to that one. But yeah, that aside, it has been a interesting week. GG's. See you in the next